Hi Blockheads, welcome back. Today we have the Crossroads block from Lynne of Kansas Troubles Quilters. I'm super excited to show you guys how this block comes together, so let's get started. So first things first, if you haven't already, you're going to want to print out or download the PDF of this pattern. We will link it in the description below. I love to print it out because I like to put my swatches on here so I don't get confused. I have another plan, so I'm making both of mine identical, but you do want to make two of these blocks. The other thing to note here is that all your cutting instructions are here, and even if you're doing two different versions of blocks, you have A and B here. So we're just sticking with A, that's what I'm going to be doing. So step one is to make the half square triangles. I have already made a few. And if you haven't made half square triangles before, we have an awesome tutorial hosted by Jessie. We're going to pop the link down right here on YouTube. So if you need a step-by-step, definitely go check that out. In general, what you want to do is draw this line. So on both sides of it, 1/4 inch, cut on the line and trim. Each of these units needs to be 3.5 inches because it's a 9-inch finished block. I love this Quilt in a Day 3.5-inch fussy cut ruler. I use it so much, not even just for fussy cuts. It's just a great little ruler. You just want a 45-degree lined up onto this line and trim around it. So that's the half square triangle units. Go ahead and make those and we'll meet back here and talk about the next units to make. All right, we're back. I have my 4 half square triangles with my background color and my B fabric. So we are all set there. The next unit to make are these little kind of bar units. So you're gonna need 2 of each with your AEA configuration and 2 with your ACA. And again, I'm making mine identical, so you might have different letters and things going on. The main thing to pay attention to is that your background fabric is on either side of whatever this middle bar fabric is. This is a very simple one. So you're just going to lay out your little rectangles and sew them together. This guy to this guy, this guy to this guy, and then press. So I'm gonna finish making these units and I'll meet you back here when they're all done. We are back from assembling our little bar units here. So I have 2 with my little blue center and 2 with the green center. Again, yours could be different. The main thing that's important on these is that the background is on either side. All right, the next unit we're gonna make is this center 1/4 square triangle. In the cutting instructions for this piece, it told you to cut them in half diagonally, your B and C. We are actually gonna cut them in half again from this point. So we need them to be into quarters. And that is how we will get the 1/4 square triangle. They'll have a few extra pieces here. You could sew them together and you'd have an extra half square triangle. If you're making identical blocks, then you have just everything you need. So next step is to kind of just place them in the configuration you would like them in. And then we are going to sew together each half. So first sew those 2 pieces together along that line. Then sew these 2 pieces together along this line. And then once you have done that, you will sew the unit together like this, and you'll end up with one just like this. So we'll meet you back here and we'll talk about final block construction. We are back. Before we do final block construction, I just wanted to show you how you can trim these. So of course you can take any regular square ruler, line up the 45, and these need to be 3.5-inch unit. But I wanted to show you my awesome fussy cut ruler again. You can see it has this little X on it. And I love it because we need to trim this to 3.5 inches. So it's just going to be a perfect fit to trim this with this ruler. Might have oversized my cuts. So you'll notice if I'm hosting anything or teaching anything, I always oversize everything because I don't want to have to go back if I don't have to. So here we go. Perfectly trimmed 1/4 square triangle unit. All right, so let's talk final block construction. This is your center. With this one, you just want to make sure you're lining up these bars with the correct color on the 1/4 square triangle. So you get that visual of these arrows kind of intersecting. Last little piece is these half square triangles in each corner, which I like. It kind of gives it a sort of churn dashy feel, dare I say. So you will just sew together each row and then you will combine the rows and I'll come back to show you my finished block. Here we go. Here is my finished Crossroad block. If you're doing your own thing, make as many as you want. You could make a whole quilt of this. Special thanks to Lynne for gifting us this block. It's beautiful. And we will be back next week with more blocks and more fun Blockhead 6 content. We hope you'll join us. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Happy quilting!